Hey everyone, my name is Kurt, and welcome to Kurt's Pop-Tart review. Today's Pop-Tart is the Pretzel cinnamon sugar flavored. It's sweet and salty, and it's new. Some of you may know there are two main methods of eating a Pop-Tart. One, eating it right out of the box, like I do. It's my preference. Or two, toasting it and having it that way. I've learned recently there is a third way of eating a Pop-Tart, and it is freezing it in the freezer for 20 minutes and then giving it a try there. It says it right on the box here. And I'm going to do all three methods for this Pop-Tart review and every Pop-Tart review in the future. It's only the right way. That's what Mr. Pop-Tart would want. So that's what I'm going to do. So without further ado, let's just crack this open and give it a try the regular way. Standard packaging. Okay, so what I'm noticing right away is that the pastry is pretty fluffy. It smells like a pretzel and kind of looks like a pretzel too. It smells very, very salty, and you can see the little salt speckles on it. Bottoms up. So my initial impressions of the default version of the cinnamon sugar pretzel Pop-Tarts is that pretty bland. It has a little bit of salty aftertaste. It's not personally something I'm looking for in a Pop-Tart, but it's interesting. I'm not getting any pretzel out of it, any pretzel flavor. I'm not a huge fan of pretzels anyway, so that's fine. But before I give it a full conclusion on this Pop-Tart, we are going to pop them in a toaster and throw them in the freezer as well. So let's get to it. Are these toasted? Oh yeah, they are. Okay, so what we're gonna do is actually ow! It's come out of the toaster, and as you can see, it has nice little toast marks all over the top of the pastry, and it smells very pretzel-y now. So I'm wondering if the salty flavors are going to be more prominent than before. I usually don't like toasted Pop-Tarts, so we'll see how this goes. This is actually infinitely better now. It tastes like a pretzel with a sweet aftertaste, as opposed to before it tasted like a pastry with a salty aftertaste. This has a more pretzel-like texture now that it has been toasted. I'm actually pretty impressed. I didn't think it would be that much different. But wow, it is night and day. This is quite good now. I'm definitely going to be eating this whole thing. But before I get to that, we got to go to the freezer and take out our frozen Pop-Tart and see if that tastes good. Whoa now, this is a little chilly. It's been in the freezer for about 30 minutes. Before it defrosts, I'm going to give it a try. Let's see how it tastes. Freezing it apparently has a very interesting effect on the Pop-Tart. Of course, it has a little bit more, it's a little bit more chewier because it's a little frozen. But the sweetness is more accentuated, whereas the saltiness is pretty much to a minimum. I do not like the texture of it at all. But honestly, this does taste better than the just right out of the box. You got to put some work into these if you want to get the most out of it. So here's how the tier list is shaping out. We're going to give the toasted, we'll give them a sweet A tier. We'll give the untoasted version of these maybe a C tier. And the frozen, we'll give them higher on the C tier. Really not that much better, but certainly better than the untoasted and untouched Pop-Tarts. And that concludes my review of the Pop-Tarts. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you are having a